Here we go.
All right.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 25 of our 0 to a Million 90-day journey. We're rocking and rolling. Dude, what are you excited about right now?
I'm excited about the reactivation engine. I am excited about the new AI stuff that we've been playing with.
Yep.
I'm excited about the recruiting funnel that we're putting together.
Yep.
I am excited that our ad costs just dropped by like 10x.
Yeah, let's just keep that up.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I'm kind of burnt out right now, to be completely honest. But we're still here. We're doing it.
I mean, it's a win that we're still showing up no matter what.
Damn right. What about you?
Yes.
Understood.
All of it. Yeah.
Hearing you loud and clear.
Dude, I'm actually excited about our pro deploy process.
Yeah.
Pro deploy process is so valuable.
I'm waiting. I've got somebody who wants a full pro deploy everything. I'm waiting for him to call me back. He's one of those guys that's like, I'm going to call you in an hour. And then it's like 48 hours. And then he texts, hey, are you free in 15 minutes? Yes.
Yep. Been waiting here for 48 hours.
4 days go by.
Yeah.
Hey, dude. What's up? 15 minutes go by. Nothing. Do you want me to call you? Nothing. Next day. Hey, dude. Okay.
What are we doing here?
What the fuck is happening right now?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that happens. Yeah. But dude, the pro deploy, oh man, I'm in love with it. Yeah, I was working on that today with our speed to lead engine, and it's beautiful. It's perfect.
Why don't you explain it?
All right, so we have a way, the sales momentum way, to be able to take certain mechanisms that are in our coursework. So basically, anybody in the Momentum Blueprint, they get access to basically all of the IP and documentation and frameworks and everything that we've held internally, so that our team can build HubSpot mechanisms and their a whole infrastructure, all within HubSpot. The Momentum Blueprint is where we just release all of it. So we opened up the floodgates, and now all of our clients have access to all the shit that we've been protecting for a very long time. Rightly so. It's made us millions of dollars. So yeah, that's all out in the open now. So there's certain mechanisms within HubSpot, like we're talking about our speed to lead engine, which is every mechanism. There's a lot of button clicking, a lot of building properties, workflows, things like that in some cases take hours, and there's lots of little nuances that can potentially get somebody stuck. So we have a way of being able to, what we call pro deploy, a specific mechanism, and where we actually build it exactly the way that we demonstrate it inside of the course material, and basically turn it around within 72 hours. So they can have it exactly the way that it's set up, and then there's a little bit of integration help that we support with on the back end, and that is our pro deploy service. So we're just building that. We've got our first 3 mechanisms that are pro deploy eligible out of probably dozens over time. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the business model we're running is definitely kind of evolving, I would say. So the way that it works is people come to us, they need help with a bunch of different stuff. Usually it's all pertaining to systems. They think it's one problem. It's a ton of different issues. And usually it comes down to they've built a ton of stuff that kind of works, but it doesn't work properly. So they're constantly fixing it just as fast as stuff is falling apart. And now with the Blueprint side and this whole challenge and program that we're running now, they have access to everything that we would do for them, step by step, broken down module by module, engine by engine, velocity mechanic by mechanic. And with that, our model is incredibly valuable because it opens the door to a lot of potential solutions that somebody could do. That's where we guide them into which one they should actually work on based on how much revenue or how much impact it's going to basically bring back, whether that's time or obviously cash. And with the Pro Deploy, it now gives us another way to monetize because people obviously want their time back. Mm-hmm. So as long as they understand what it is, we can deploy it for them. And that saves them weeks, if not hundreds of hours, right? Yeah. So now we have another way of monetizing that. And then on top of that, if somebody is really moving fast and they want us to go at a completely different level, we have a upper level in the Blueprint side of the program as well. So we're starting to layer in ways to obviously retain clients, but then also make it more valuable the longer that they're working with us, which mm-hmm. is obviously the key to scale. Yeah. So yeah, it's, I'm excited for it. It's going well. Yeah. And the results that are coming are fucking awesome. I love hearing about the clients and getting to jump on with them.
Dude, same. And I actually love how they're appreciating like what it actually takes.
I think it's so funny. You take a done for you client.
Yeah.
And you take somebody who we guide through something or give their team access to and train them on. These guys we could put 400 hours into. These guys we could put 4. Mm-hmm. These guys could have a way more sophisticated, 10 times crazier system. These guys could have the level 1. These guys are 10 times happier, 10 times more appreciative. These guys are just like, well, that button's not green.
Yeah.
You're like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Hey, the email subject is wrong.
You clicked on the button, saw that it wasn't the color you wanted. You didn't change it, even though it says color right here. Mm-hmm. And you're bringing it up to us now after we just spent 100 hours building this thing for you.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes.
You were completely in the right. Yeah. Love you. No, anyways, the done for you side is great. I mean, people just get, honestly, it's the problem with the done for you side is that no matter how above and beyond you go, you actually dig yourself into a further trap because they expect it all the time and they don't realize what a favor is versus what a deliverable is. Mm. So all of a sudden they just think they can ask for favors. And when you say no, it all of a sudden becomes a problem, even when it's not a deliverable. And then they try and bring it back to the scope where it's like, well, this is a deliverable. It's like, oh yeah, well, the freaking 40 hours that we spent with you last week, none of that was a deliverable, but we did it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, managing scope.
Who's right, who's wrong, you know, like, and I get it on their end, but also at the same time, it's, you know, when you're working with somebody who sells something that gets delivered immediately, whatever that might be, and then they work with us and we're spending labor hours, whatever, on doing the thing and customizing the thing and scoping the thing and then training them on the thing. I think there's just a complete disconnect on like what that actually takes.
Yeah.
And some of the things that people ask us for after everything is done is just, it fucking makes me think like,
you have no idea
what you have no idea what's here right now, yeah. Do you? You just, again, are fixated on the color is dark green, not light green.
Yeah.
And that aggravates me so much because what we do, especially with the fulfillment team, like it's literally like they're an artist. They're building a fucking, they're an architect.
They put their heart and soul into every build.
And they could put 100 hours with somebody. And if that person doesn't realize what's going on, that person just keeps asking them for shit.
Yeah.
And we have to inject ourselves and say, you are going way far past a line that's not appropriate or
necessary.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, and you're going in the wrong direction. And then if you point out the right direction, it's like, all right, so you guys are going to do that too, right? Dude, we don't run a charity.
Yeah.
You know, like we have to cover costs and we are sunken into your business. Like your project has cost us $10,000 right now. And you want us to do more because there's one line in the scope that you feel like isn't delivered, but we delivered it 6 weeks ago and you guys approved it.
Yeah. Well, it just like further proves the point. Yeah.
Dude.
Get it all out, bro.
Yeah, it's done.
This is the place.
And then there's the clients that are just literally fucking awesome and
That's what I was going to say, dude. It's like for the right client, that's perfect, right?
Well, dude, we have, I'm not going to say who, but a client this week who we've been doing a lot of extra above and beyond with approaches us and says, hey, you guys are going like super past your scope with us. And like, we of course appreciate the hell out of it, but we're starting to feel like bad, you know, like that our team members would literally fall on a sword for.
Yeah.
This is just like there's a right way to like do business with people, especially with vendors.
Yeah.
And some people know how to do it. Some people just, I don't know if there's like a screw loose or like, I want to know how their teams feel, to be honest. Like,
agreed.
Anyways, but other than that, everything's great.
Yeah, it's all good.
That's what 4 years of done for you service does to your brain.
Yeah, that's the unpacking of all of the emotions that are been stuck.
Yeah, I've been in this for a while, guys, a long time.
But that's also a big reason why we decided to do this in the first place. Is like all of those people I really could have been going into a done with you type of community.
It would have been
course.
Perfect for them.
We only had done for you.
I agree.
Which wasn't, I mean, they still ended up with an awesome fucking system, but in retrospect, like
some of those people, 100% needed guided. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's our fault.
Yeah, but we learned, and now we're here.
But I also think on the contrary, similar to what we were talking about yesterday, like the done for you service side, when you're the one doing all of it and you're going above and beyond past scope, doing all this other stuff, dealing with scope creep.
Yeah.
That's how you get all the good stuff.
Yeah.
The reputation too, but the good stuff plus the case studies, and you find the little secret levers that no one else knows about.
Yeah.
And that's definitely how we've been able to put all of this stuff together in the blueprint now, is because of all that extra shit. I mean, I remember when you were first coming in, we had clients that we were probably like $30,000, $40,000 upside down with in terms of work and labor. And they were hell to work with, by the way, like absolute, just monstrous clients. Hey, we hired a new ops person. He wants to redo everything. So that's part of scope, right? No, Jimmy, that's not a part of the scope. You guys finalized everything last week. We offboarded 2 days ago. Now you're saying you want to redo the whole thing and you think that's included in what you paid for? No. And then they're like, well, that's not fair. It's like, bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So we dealt with all of that. But in doing that, it almost forced us to like overcorrect with documentation and figuring out how to make every single mechanism super spelled out so that there wasn't the ability for clients to try and do that to us.
Yeah. Have a scope you could defend.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what created like the engine mechanism, the engine framework, the velocity mechanisms, the deviation from this, the scope customization of this one. Like all of that came from clients just pressing us for no reason.
Yeah.
And in making them and appeasing them, we actually got what we needed. Yeah. For the long-term sustainability of the business.
Yep.
And honestly, I think with the done for you and the guided side now, like people can come in and we can literally give them exactly what they need. Because I had a conversation earlier this week and they're like, we want done for you. That's all we're looking for. I'm like, really? So like, what does your guys' system look like today? Right? Oh, it's a freaking mess. It's a nightmare. This person did it. Then this person did it. That person's no longer here anymore. That person's gone, this, that, whatever. All right. So no one on your team knows how to use anything. So if we built you this, then what?
That would still remain.
You guys would be back in 3 months.
Yeah.
So, and I flipped them on their head and they're like, okay, no, we need guided 100%. I'm going to go talk to our ops guy. Our ops guy is going to be static, like crazy happy. And we're going to have a real sustainable freaking ecosystem now, finally.
Yeah.
Boy. All right. Anyways.
So you want to talk more about the reactivation engine?
Yeah, let's do it.
So what specifically are you excited about with regard to the reactivation engine?
All right. Let me put it this way. Every company has a sales pipeline, right? Every company has leads coming in, a way of getting them into whatever the first step of their sales process is, and then closing them, right? Like that is every business, every single one. Even if you're nonprofit, you're going to have people that come in and then you're going to have some different way or milestone that you're trying to work them towards. What people don't have is across that entire process, one, they have no idea where the data is ending up. So they have no idea where their leads are ending up. They have no segmentation across where everybody is in this one stage, meaning like this person's the same as this person, this person, this person, even though this person's a brand new person active in the pipeline and all of these people haven't been contacted in over 6 months. So everybody has this massive like graveyard across their entire process that they just never pay attention to because it's always, how do we get more in the front end, or how do we increase show rates, or how do we increase close? Like everybody just focuses on the obvious stuff.
Yeah.
And what they don't realize is that the more that they force their reps to try and like chase down people, the less capacity they're going to have on the front end. And whenever they want them to follow up, they never actually give them a true process for it.
Right.
So what we've done, and what we've done extremely well, is making it extraordinarily simple to organize that data as it falls through. So as it's actually decaying out, or as it's not getting contacted, or depending on where the process is, setting up an actual framework of a primary layer, a layer 1, a layer 2, as everything kind of waterfalls down out, and setting up a way to re-engage and pull people out. Mm-hmm. And they don't even have to know what's going on with it, and it's going to run and operate and constantly recycle leads back up to the front end of their sales process.
Yep, no matter what.
So, I mean, the reason I'm excited about it is because it fits any model. The infrastructure is extraordinarily simple compared to what people try and get people to think they need to do.
Yeah.
And a majority of it is completely automated, right? If it falls all the way down, that's the only place where you might want to re-engage with like true marketing, collateral, re-offers, re-engagement, like manual send out newsletter type stuff. Mm-hmm. Other than that, the entire way down, they're going through specific process to try and re-engage them out. And then if they do get re-engaged out back from like a layer 1 or a layer 2, we're tracking it.
Yeah.
So they can actually see how much reactivated revenue they're actually bringing back from their quote unquote dead leads.
Yep.
Right. So I just like, there's not a single business use case where people, at least I've seen, that have this set up well. Like I've never seen anybody have this set up properly. So rolling this out, and to the people that have seen this and are starting to build it, it's just, I mean, if you're doing volume, this is millions of dollars a year.
Dude, yeah.
You know, like, so yeah, if you want to go through it, you definitely can. This is,
yeah, just at a high level. I mean,
brainchild.
What I love about this, and actually I'll just make this like super spelled out here, but this right here is all layer 1. And to your point, the beauty in this is that it's all tracked. So we can see like, you know, what specific layer 1 campaign is reactivating the most. And also like how is layer 1 as a whole, just how good of a job is it doing to,
before you explain this, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if anybody watches this and they want to understand how much money they're losing potentially a year, just go into the front part of your contacts, your CRM, doesn't matter what you're on, filter all of your contacts in the last, like, let's say 90 days that never booked a call, weren't categorized as bad data, weren't DQ'd, that basically have not been contacted in, let's call it 10 days. Just throw those filters on the front of your pipeline and then just do the math. Take your number that you brought in, so number of new leads over that 90-day period, and then literally just see what the percentage is of leads that are literally sitting dead in the front half of your pipeline just in the last 90 days. That's it. Do that, and then do the same thing for your front end of your sales process. So discovery call or complete or no show, complete qualified but didn't move forward, and then do it the same thing for the backside of your pipeline for any kind of closing calls that have been completed, offers made, red zone deals, people with offers that never ended up closing. You'll likely throw up because of how much money you are leaving and not doing anything with. And you're going to get really pissed at your sales team, but at the same time, it's not really their fault if you're not doing a good job of actually setting it up for them.
Yeah.
So it's on you, Mr. Business Owner.
Yeah. And it really, like, it's designed to cover the full process from A to Z in the sales process. So there's the prospecting process, there's the discovery process, there's the closing process, and then we have kind of like the ancillary high probability deals, which we call red zone deals. We definitely want to make sure we have a really good coverage there, because to lose a red zone deal, that's the worst.
Okay, losing one and knowing about it, but what about losing like hundreds a year and not knowing about it?
Yeah. It's literally just dropping the ball at the 1 yard line.
I can't remember who it was. Who the fuck was it? Oh, I do know who it was. I'll tell you after this. But we went into their offers made pipeline, and it was like a few thousand deals. I think like 90% of that entire pipeline uncontacted in over like 60 days.
Damn.
Most of those deals were within 365 days.
Oof.
So they had over 1,000 offers out that there was no follow-up with at all sitting in that deal stage from 12 months, period.
Oof. Dude, that is just burning money on fire.
Well, it's fucking, for them, it was millions of dollars just sitting there. And they were doing nothing with it. Not a single thing.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah. So that obviously is pretty aggravating. But
yeah.
also, at the same time, like, people just don't know that this is even, you have to think, like, most people, they'll look at their sales process, set it up, and they'll do the basics, the pre-call, the no-show nurture, all these things. But then when those workflows run out,
right, what happens?
or those automations like end after 15 days, 30 days, whatever it is, they don't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
They don't think about any of that anymore.
Yep. They just go to the coffin. That's
they go to no man's land.
Yeah.
They just sit there. And it's funny, a lot of these people are still landing on your websites, checking out your stuff, seeing your ads. Like, you just have no idea. So,
yeah. Well,
I digress.
What I also love about like the experience as a prospect being reactivated, it's like, imagine if a lead opts in like 6 months ago and they just decayed out of the system for whatever reason, whether they no-showed and never got rebooked, or they got an offer made to them and they just never got followed up with by the closer. And then they're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to, open up this email and click on this link that's in the email. And then I'm going to, hop on this page and watch this video to at least 50% of the way through. And then I'm not going to opt in. I'm not going to book a call, but, I'm just going to kind of check out to see what's happening. And while that prospect is on the website, they get a call from the setter. And it's like, hey, it's been 6 months since we last spoke to you. We were just worried about you. Check it in. How's everything going? Oh, that is crazy. I was just on your website.
I know you were.
There's no such thing as coincidence. This must be meant to be.
You know what industry does this extremely well? I was just thinking about this. Any big e-com company, like online clothing, online product, like, they crush this.
Yeah.
Why? Because they don't have a sales team to rely on.
Yep.
There is no salesperson. It is 100% system, marketing, reoffering, discount offering. Like, that is they generate a lead and they have to get their order value from it.
Right.
Like, so they're the abandoned cart sequence, all of this different stuff. Like, the online big brand products, clothing, whatever, e-com stuff, like, this is all that they do.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't, when there's a salesperson involved, people just do not go into the depths that they need to.
Right.
And
it really is a hybrid between
it is 100%.
those two. Yeah.
Well, because the primary flow is a person working it.
Yep.
And then you still have all that drop off, but because people rely on salespeople, they never get into. You got to think of like an operations marketing person for like a product, like a clothing company or a fucking, I don't know, hair gel whatever. Their entire job is to set up automation flows and all this other stuff.
Yep.
Like, that's how they're doing it, right? Then when you come over to the online high ticket whatever space, like, these people are just like, my salespeople are going to do everything for me, and they know nothing about systems for the most part, and they're probably the most educated around tech, system, AI, whatever, and they still just don't get it set up right because they're just throwing a bunch of random shit, and they never actually sit down to get this stuff mapped out.
Yeah.
Or build anything that's really truly sustainable.
Yeah.
It's usually a bunch of patchwork. But I find it interesting, like, if we showed this to like a big, I don't know, somebody that's really good with e-commerce, they'd just be like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, of course.
Duh.
Why? Like,
this is day
we
one.
wouldn't be able to survive without
this is day
this.
one stuff. Yeah. You show this to somebody who's in the spaces that we work with, and they are like, can we have that in 5 minutes? Like,
right. Yeah.
We need that now. Right?
Well, the cool thing is that this actually is pro deploy eligible.
Damn right.
So
get it in 24 hours.
Yep.
It's yours.
More like 72, but sometimes under 24, depending on the situation. But
depends who you are.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, basically, like these are, essentially cadences that happen as a result of these different drop off points, and drop off points are triggered by the thresholds that don't have to be set manually by anybody. It's literally the system just seeing what's happening, and based on some rules of like, hey, what this means when this is the behavior of the salesperson or this is the behavior of the prospect, it equals this. This is the next step. So building in all that logic is really what this is all about. And then being able to track, where's reactivation coming from? Is it layer 1? Is it layer 2, which kind of goes into the main marketing list, whether it be like a newsletter, email, a custom audience for retargeted ads? I mean, it could be so many things.
Reoffer.
Yeah, reoffers.
Yeah, I would say that honestly, for anybody that's in the higher ticket online side of things, if you know where all of your leads that are time decaying out or dropping off go to, like what list, then your marketing team can run a reoffer. I mean, masterclass, webinar, here's a free asset. We dropped a new, lead, whatever the hell you want to do.
Yep.
That can be your go-to rework list to launch stuff to try and fill up your events, fill up your master classes, fill up your whatever it is. And that's really like, even if none of the nurture stuff was here and it was still just segmented the way that it flows, a good marketer would have a fucking field day.
Oh yeah.
A good anybody would have a field day.
Yep.
Because you can make a lot of people come back and you don't have to constantly keep relying on the front end of your process to work.
Yeah.
So there's a balance, but yeah, I mean, I fucking love this thing.
Yeah, dude, me too.
It's great.
And to that point, like having it segmented based on how far along in the journey they're in is a massive piece of this. To your point, if there was like a marketer that was like, wait a second, so I have a segmented list of every single person that came in through this lead that got to this part of the sales process and no-showed, and I can have a tailored experience for those people to try to get them back into the sales process. Cool.
Yeah.
But,
here's your other 6 segment list. Here's all the offers we made that disappeared. Here's all the freaking front end leads that applied that we never ended up booking. Here's all of the contacts that actually were qualified and set into a nurture stage because they said that we can do this in 6 months, whatever. You have all of these lists segmented for somebody who can actually do some damage with it.
Yeah. Powerful.
Yeah, it's great. I was on a call today, and I was going through numbers and metrics, and they didn't know anything. And they thought that they needed to generate more leads, and their front end was dialed. Like, hey, you realize you guys could spend double what you're spending right now and be like one of the most profitable front end like things I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why you're spending a bunch of money trying to do cold email right now. And they're like, well, I guess that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, well, like if you guys, your front end is so strong that if you guys just got tiny little increases, 2% here, 3% here, 4% here, you guys could drop in your close rate, like cut it in half, double your spend. You're not taking closing calls anymore. You have a closer that's literally doing half the close rate as you. You're still making a ton of money, and you no longer are on the calendar at all. All you have to do is fix this percentage by 5%, which it was like their front end, like disco to qualified. So disco complete to actual closing call.
Oh, okay.
If their close rate dropped by half, that percentage went up by 3-4%, and then they doubled their ad spend, which it wasn't much. Like they doubled their ad spend. They would be same profit margin. Like actually, I think it was a little bit higher margin, and their revenue would still, I think it was like 60-70% jump. It was like multiple millions a year with their close rate cut in half and the founder out of taking any sales calls because they were worried that their close rate would drop significantly.
Gotcha.
I'm like, yeah, it would, but
you can afford that.
You can absolutely afford that.
Yeah.
And that's something you can work on if you're out of the sales calls. And on top of that, you just double your spend, fix this one like tiny little mechanic here. What are you worried about?
Yeah.
Your revenue is skyrocketed. Your profitability is basically the same, and your close rate, like you're going to be fine. But you guys were trying to spend a bunch of money on new leads.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
I was like, holy shit.
I was going to actually ask you this on the live stream yesterday, and I guess I forgot to, but Like, to define what RevOps is, because, some people are like, RevOps, I don't know if you get that question a lot, but people are
Sometimes.
asking like, what does that even mean? Dude, RevOps is that, and also it's like RevOps is
I think
also,
I think it depends on where the companies are at. Because like it'll change, right? Revenue operations could be setting up and like defining process and structure based off of best practices that have been proven, right? And then trying to tie the metrics that you're currently at to where the averages should be, and making sure you're not deviating up or down. RevOps could also be what I was telling you. Yeah, it was yesterday, where I had a client who called me. He gave me all of his numbers, and I asked him, I was like, what do you see here? Like, I see 2 areas that you guys could add an extra 100 deals a month. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, all right, your number of calls is this, your number of leads are this. The average number of times your reps are contacting these leads is between 2 and 3. And you have thousands of these leads, right? On top of that, you have all of these people who are getting booked. These are the people that are getting qualified, offers out the door. Here's your close rate. You need to hire a setter, number one, because your reps are completely inundated with the number of leads that they have right now. So you thought they were getting 10 calls in the first week. They're getting maybe 1.5.
2.
Yeah. So that's the first thing. And your connection rate is 50%.
Damn.
Meaning, dude, it was nuts. Every other call, they were getting on the phone with somebody. If your live transfer rate went up a little bit, meaning not with the system, but you're coaching on the script with the front end or the back end. So they're either not opening well, meaning they can't get somebody to stay on the phone with them, or they're not closing well, like they're not getting the calls booked well. If you adjust that metric by 2 or 3%, that's it. You add another setter and you get the average number of contacts up, because the number of people that were getting booked with a higher contact rate was drastically different than those who were just getting one call, obviously, right? If you just change those 2 things, you guys are adding 100 deals a month with 1 extra head and no extra cost. You could bring your marketing spend way back, actually, and probably still get the same amount of deals.
Yeah.
So that's also revenue operations. It's just looking into things very, very intently and trying to figure out ways to crack revenue, profitability, and all of these different things. Also, where should time and energy go? Like, I think that's the biggest thing, because even we do this. Like, we get on a meeting with everybody. Everybody's throwing around all these fucking problems, and it's like, all right, wait. Does it impact our clients? Like, will it make it better for them? No? Okay. Is it going to give us more revenue or more profit or save us time? No? Okay. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay, we have these 5 things that all do those 3 things or whatever, we're trying to solve for. Which one is going to give us the best impact for the time that we're going to put in? And which one's actually a capability that we have right now? Okay, these 2. All right, let's run the numbers on this one, run the numbers on this one. Okay, this one, if we just go 2% more, compared to this one where we'd have to go 10% more, we're going with the 2% lift that's going to give us the same output as the 10% lift.
Yep.
That's fucking revenue operations.
Yep.
Right? And if you have somebody that can do that, they can actually see the sales process. They actually understand what's going on. They know what numbers and levers they can pull. And then you have somebody that actually knows how to implement and what works and what happens and what's going on and what's working today versus what was working, all of these different things, and they actually know the implementation of it. That's what the fucking Momentum Blueprint program is.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's so fucking good, because it's first reading the numbers, making sure they're accurate, making sure there's foundation, and then it's okay. Well, yeah, I want that 2% lift. Like, what do we do to do that? Okay, well,
XYZ.
Yeah, all right. You need to get more calls from your reps. What would you do? I would tell them they need to make more calls. Not going to work. What are you going to do? Well, right now, we don't have this, that, whatever. You've got 2 options. You can incentivize, and then you can look for improvement in the system where they're leaking time so that they can spend more time dialing. And then you can show them how the incentive that you're giving them and this paired together are going to give them the best chances of getting that bonus at the end of the month or anything along those lines. That now you can drive that action, right? You can't just go say, hey, guys, we're doing 100 calls a day right now. We need you to do 150. Mm-hmm. They may do it for 3 days.
Yeah.
But if you go, hey, guys, like,
here's what you want to.
You're all, like, making okay money. If you guys just go to 150 instead of 100 dials a day, here's what happens at the end of the month. And if we meet this marker, I'm also going to give you a bonus on top of that. And I'm also giving you guys a new whatever lead prioritization system, whatever. So instead of calling leads that are all just stacked on top of each other, every next dial is going to be your best dial. So your connection rates are going to go up too. So we're going to get higher volume, higher connection, higher throughput, and everybody's motivated and incentivized.
Yeah.
Fucking, you think you can get a 2% lift with that? Yeah, I think we could do way more than 2%. Okay, well, all you need is 2%. If you hit that, you're going to be super happy.
Yeah.
2% means an extra $100,000, Jimmy. You know. Well, what if we do 4? Shoot for 4.
Jimmy's going to be
That's
real happy.
200,000, you know.
Yeah.
And then people start to understand, like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's how I need to be reading and looking at data at the beginning of every month and picking what I should be working on. They just get too stuck in all this like junk that just doesn't matter.
Well,
you know,
yeah, it's the math has to math, you know, like,
well, the math has to math. And then also, like, if you're dealing with people, you need to make it make sense for them.
right.
Like the amount of people that just go off of trying to set and run initiatives just because they think it's right and they have no way of explaining what it's actually going to do for them.
Yeah.
Not going to work for you.
Yeah.
But
I pulled this up really quick because,
I mean, 30 minutes ago.
yeah, but it's the rule of 7. And I was trying to pull up like the actual study. I think it was like Boston University or something that showed like the average attempt or the average conversion takes place after the 7th attempt. And so what I'm always looking for
is this tied to like outbound dialing?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So if like that outbound call to leads ratio is below 7, it's like, oh, you're not even at the, you know, the average of when, you know, people actually
start
convert.
to happen. Yeah. I mean, one thing I've been doing with a lot of people, and you should definitely do this with all the clients that you're working with right now. We're running the report. So we're just building a report that takes the number of contacts that have been created in the last 30 days, the number of outbound dials towards those specific contacts broken down by setter, and then what the average number of outbound dials to each contact in that bucket, that time range.
Yep.
Dude, it's bad.
Oof.
Like, hey, what do you think? Like, what do you think the number of people is?
20.
The number of times you contact leads? Oh, we're probably like
15,
10
20.
to 15. What if I told you it was 2.2? Nah, not possible. Really? That's your top rep, right? Yeah, he's a killer. All right. 2.2.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's very revealing.
100%.
Yeah.
And then if you threw speed of lead on it too, hey, actually the reality of your setting team is that they're on average getting the leads about 4 hours after they get delegated them. And the number of times they're contacting them within the first 15 days is 2.2.
Actually,
it's a good way to make a founder throw up.
Dude, that is that part of the speed to lead
setup?
Yeah.
No, but it could be in
that's
2
actually
seconds.
that's a phenomenon. I mean, it's a little bit different than speed to lead, but
it's a good way to measure your reps.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, I've got to remember that. I'm gonna.
I mean, it's an easy report.
Yeah.
I could build it right now in 0.2 seconds.
You want to build it right now in 0.2 seconds?
Yeah, go to the demo portal.
All right. I'll give this here. I'll just let you take over from here.
Okay.
What's this? F6.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, boys. If you're running a setter team, or if you are on the setter team of anybody that watches this,
Listen up.
I'm sorry. It's not my fault. I didn't mean to do it to your team. All right, we in engine demo?
Yep.
All right, so if you go in and you create, obviously, a custom report here. Let's go in, custom report builder. Only thing that I don't really like about what, so this will likely change depending on what dialer you're using. So like for us, we're going to use the Allower total number of outbound dials. For somebody else, it might be the call activity is outbound, right?
Yep.
But basically, if we go in, do contacts, we don't need to start with the data set. We're doing a custom.
And by the way, in this environment, that's patched, so you could use the total outbound calls.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. We should have actual data in here, I would assume, right?
And there's a little bit, not much.
I mean, not much, but still get the gist. So your setter owner, your contact owner, whatever you're actually using, right? This is how you'd break down your actual columns. So, each person, right, is going to be here. Then you're going to do contacts. Count of contacts is going to be a field. Then we're going to do total outbound calls under that. Oh, wait, sorry. We got to drag these up. Dude, I don't know how you operate this thing looking at it sideways. This is way harder than it looks.
Practice, bro.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, so basically count of contacts, total number of outbound calls. You could also take speed to lead right here, drop that down. And you can also take the average. I'm not going to go into it now, but you can take the average of those contacts based off of everybody that's been booked, what the time frame is, like from when they get created to when they get booked. So you can actually prove like, oh, these guys are all booking in the first hour. Everybody outside of that isn't doing anything.
Right.
Okay, makes sense. So, speed of lead value is not really, I mean, you could get the average.
There's
so,
some.
What's up?
I said there's some, but some of them are just not.
So you're going to go to the aggregate distinct count just like that. So you can actually get the like totals of contacts. So it's not, Aaron Platt 6 times, right? So once we get that, we're just going to have to throw some filters around this. Nope. What is going on? Where did my, I did it to the wrong one. Dude, we got to be able to get this up here. Be so much nicer.
I know. We'll work on that. That's version 2 of the studio.
Sounds good. All right. Total number of outbound calls. We're going to do average. Let that load up. We're going to do the average of speed lead. Boy. Boom. Okay, now it's working. All right. So basically what we did is it's literally a custom report. This is super, super simple. There's obviously, if you want speed of lead, just, I don't know, go to my Instagram and click on the speed of lead setup. It'll tell you exactly how to do it. But basically we're taking all of the setters that we have, right? And then this is a demo portal, fair warning. The count of contacts that are assigned to them, right? And the average number of outbound dials made to this grouping of contacts. Right. And then the average speed lead time frame for each person towards the contacts that we're going to specify. So then all we're going to do is we're going to go into filters, and based on, say, for example, like setter owner has to be known. We're going to throw in one more filter, which is delegation, date and timestamp. I hope this still loads, even though it's a demo portal. I don't know if it will, but so basically you would then take the delegation date and timestamp, or you could take the create date, whichever you guys, if you don't have the speed lead system, you're not going to have delegation date and time. So you're just going to take the actual creation date. But then you're going to do is, for example, let's call it the last, I don't know, just for simplicity, let's just say last like 30 days, right? Apply. So basically what we have now is a report that is breaking down all of our setters by all of the leads that have been assigned to them in the last 30 days, the average number of outbound calls that they're making to these leads within that same period.
Yep.
So it's only taking the people that have been delegated to them in the last 15 days or 30 days, whatever we did. So it's giving you their average number of touch points on all of their new leads, and then it's also giving you their average speed of lead time frame for all of those same leads.
Damn, dude.
And you can build this in 2 seconds, like with the clients.
This is such a nice report.
It's really bad for the setters.
Yeah.
It's unless they're really good.
Yeah.
Like I would love nothing more than to build this, be like, damn, no, you guys are fucking on fire.
Yeah.
Like you guys are really crushing it. But the reality is that most of the time it's
clean
really
house.
bad. Yeah, you're gonna have a 1.6 here just like this, a 2.6 6 days or whatever.
Yeah.
But now you can see all of your setters, right?
Yep.
How many contacts that they've gotten in the last 15 days, how many times they've contacted each one of those contacts on average over the last 15 days, and then their average speed of lead time with all of their new contacts. So if you really want to figure out kind of how well your setters are actually managing the leads that you give them, here you go.
Yeah.
Right. So another really cool thing, just to go a little bit deeper for anybody that's like way more advanced on this stuff, you could also run a data set for basically taking the average lead cost. So you'd have to put in the average lead cost in the formula and data set, but let's say it's like $25, and then you could get their actual return
Dollar per
on those
dial?
leads.
Oh, okay.
On the
yeah.
leads. So you could actually see like, all right, based off of, Dean, you having 7 contacts, let's just say they're $10 each.
Yeah.
We gave you $70 of leads, and our return on that, based on the revenue that you've specifically brought in the last 15 days from these contacts, right, is a 3.2x.
Wow.
So you can actually see your return on all of your setters based on the leads that you're giving them on this same report.
Nasty.
You literally see how many contacts you've given them in the last 15 days, what the average number of touch points that they're making on those contacts in the last 15 days is, the average speed of lead time that they're getting to the leads that you're giving them, and then your actual return against the lead cost per setter.
Dude,
Fucking
I love it.
boom.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's sick.
Good night, YouTube.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's good for tonight.
I can't see the average. Let me just. Yeah, that is definitely good for night. But
Actually, save that.
boom. Rep. Setters. Performance. Review.
And then add that to the setter engine dashboard right there.
This one?
Setter engine dashboard.
Got it.
Damn. Nasty.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Well, hope you enjoyed that one, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Good night. Let's see if I got this right.
You're going to have to scroll all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's...
Nope.
No. There we go.